year 2021. And the presentation we're giving tonight is titled Taking Your Show on the Road, Perspectives from an International Entertainment Promoter. And this is featuring Donna Carpenter-Fukushima. My name is Merri, and I'm the Executive Director of the Mahogany Project, one of the co-producers of tonight's program, and I'll be your host for this evening's conversation with Donna. Now, tonight couldn't have happened without all of you out there. Thank you again for watching. Without Donna graciously accepting this invitation to talk with us tonight. And also without a lot of supporters and funders, including the Office of Arts and Culture for the City of Seattle, Shunpike, and the producers of We Out Here, Menerva Labs, and Langston, Seattle. I want to give a special big shout out to Jasmine Scott. Jasmine is behind the scenes with us tonight, helping us as we broadcast both on Facebook Live as well as during this Zoom webinar. If you're with us here in the webinar, please know that you can do closed captioning if you need that. It's wonderful Zoom support. So if you have questions about that, you can go ahead and put them in the Q&A. So there's a Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen, and that's where you can ask questions for Donna and to answer because we can't see you. So we'd love to be able to hear from you and to communicate with you. So feel free to ask questions via the Q&A tab. And all of you who are out there on Facebook Live, you can also ask questions, put your comments there, and Jasmine will be working with us to get those comments over to us. So I just want to tell you about the Mahogany Project. We are a collaborative arts organization whose mission is to support artists from the African diaspora and showcase their work, hear their voices, and provide a space for them to tell their story. And we have a great story tonight with Donna Carpenter-Fukushima. So Donna, would you mind joining us this evening? Great. Oh, the transcript is great. Showing, great. There's Donna. Hi, Donna. Okay, and you can unmute Donna. We want to hear your voice. But let me tell you a little bit about. That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to probably do that this evening too. One of those things that happens with Zoom. I want to tell you a little bit about Donna. Donna was born in Virginia into a military family. So her family moved around quite a bit, eventually settling in Seattle. And Donna was named, I love this, talking to Donna and getting to know her as I have over the years. Donna was named after Hurricane Donna, and she definitely is a force to be reckoned with in a wonderful way. And that energy and her business acumen has served her well as she has navigated the ever-changing waters of the music industry. Donna has worked in booking talent internationally in Japan and Taiwan. She's booked from James Brown to Natalie Cole, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, J Blige, Rita Marley, George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, Jimmy Cliff, Shaggy, Rick Derringer, ODB, Aaliyah, Criss Cross, Children of the Revolution, and so many more people. She specialized in entertainment visa prep, flights and contract negotiations. And right now, Donna owns 2 micro companies and enjoys volunteering for community events. I have seen Donna at lots of community events. She is very community minded. And we're so excited to have her with us. And after our conversation, we will be having a Q&A time with Donna. But if there are questions that come up during the conversation, once again, please put them in comments on Facebook or put them in the Q&A here on the Zoom webinar. So without further ado, hi, Donna again.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us, Donna. And I wanted to ask you straight off, if we can just like set a baseline. Can you tell us a little bit, we have a lot we're gonna cover tonight, but can you tell us a little bit about what exactly is an international entertainment promoter? What do they do?
Basically, you find, how do you say? internationally, we basically bring, let me put it this way, established when I was in Japan, I went to America and sought out artists to book in Japan. Or we would mix it, sort of promoting it and booking it to create that balance. But it's basically bringing talent abroad or into another country.
Okay, so that sounds really exciting, actually, being a person who loves to travel. So how did you get into the business, Donna? How did you become this international entertainment promoter?
Well, back in the day, I was just being a supportive spouse back then. And we basically created an idea. I worked 3 jobs. We just worked, saved. We didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, basically. Just all we had was an idea. And we created, at that time when we first got started, we contacted individuals that were looking for talent, specifically American talent. And so we gathered them all together. Then as far as the confirming the dates, the budgets, what they're looking for, and then headed to the States and started making contacts with some of the major agencies. And then we developed relationships with them. That's basically how we got started. When we first, yeah, you know, let me just go to the basics. Trying to save money when starting out, that means no hotel, you rent a car and you sleep in it. You show up at the office trying to look all prepped.
Right. You're meeting all these big, talent people, trying to get, and you're starting a new business and you're trying to make this impression. And little do they know, the car outside is where you spent the last night. You're just saving money.
Yeah. If we don't have to waste it, we could apply to other things. We had 2 people and we were the conduit between the 2.
Wow. No, I love it. You guys were hungry.
Yeah. And it was a dream. And we created one step at a time. And then it built from that point, especially when you develop those relationships. And if you say you're going to do something and you do it, and then the doors start opening. And then that's when, whoa.
Then when the doors open, you gotta be there to welcome everybody and make sure things happen. And you have 20 years of experience and you've put together some information for us. So should we go ahead and start sharing that, Donna?
Sounds great.
Okay, so everyone bear with me as I get this going. All right, let's do this show. So go ahead, Donna. Let her rip.
Well, you asked me about why did I put passport photos there? And the most difficult thing I found was artists think, okay, there's 2 different types of artists. And as we're going along on this journey, you have your, you might say local artists, and then you have your headliners. Headliners have management and they have the whole system functioning, so they know how to prepare those passport photos. But so the reason why I put the passport photos there was it was difficult. It was difficult to get the details that were required for to secure entertainment visas, governmental entertainment visas. And people sometimes have a lackadaisical view on things, and you don't do that when you're trying to take care of those details. When you're entering a country to work, you need to make sure you have the proper documentation, even down to the passport photos. That was a difficult task on some occasions.
Right. So people, if you want to travel internationally, the first thing is you just have to have the passport, and you got to have some extra pictures. because you just never know what's going to happen, the basics, right? Well, who makes this happen? How does all this, how do people come together to get someone to go either on a local tour, a national tour, or international tour?
If I could just ask the viewers to maybe add some questions. I'd like to know where they're at in their profession, or in their, where they're at.
In their career or in the music.
Exactly, because we're going back to a time where on this journey that we're about to embark on, I'm going to be talking about headliners, which is a totally different ball game because they're already in that system that supports them. But for this artists they're just starting to get their feet on the ground, they got their music, they got the band together, they got their look. Now you want the job and you want to take it to that next level. So I'm going to focus more on you, the artist. You have to learn to be your own manager. And this is very important because quite a few artists that didn't have that skill would end up with a manager that would basically take advantage of them, and they didn't even realize it because that artist did not have those skills and didn't know what flags to see as they went along on that journey. So it's important for you to take on those extra tasks. This is a business. And then from there, you may want to find an entertainment attorney, and then also consider an accountant as well. And from there, from that point, you go to, I'm not going to go into the booking agencies because it depends on where you're at out there. Then you create a package and you start reaching out to venues. This is a new age. So I'm going to sort of veer over to, if you're in a position that you're able to be with the booking agency, you have two options. One is exclusivity and non-exclusive. If you're going to be exclusive, you need to make sure that agency can represent you worldwide. And then that's the only reason why you want to give them the exclusive right to book you, to represent you. But if they can't do that, which is fine, because a lot of artists, major artists, they basically work with agencies around the world, from London, Japan, LA, New York, whatever the case is, they have quite a few agencies representing them. So it's imagine an octopus. The head of the octopus is the artist, and the tentacles are people who are representing you worldwide, and they just bring in gigs for you, and then your management goes through them, selects them, they confirm it with you, and then there you go. You're on tour, you're doing a gig, you're maybe representing a product, television commercial, whatever opportunities that arise from those connections.
Well, Donna, speaking of that idea of booking agents and going on the road, we do have a question. The question is, I am finally ready to take the show on the road. Okay, this is an artist, and I have the skills of management because they've been booking themselves and doing a lot of that work. And I'm about to plan a Midwest tour and have been overseas once. Do you mind, our friend JT? Can you keep going with what the question is? So we have someone in the audience, like I'm really excited to read this. They're ready to go on a Midwest tour. They've been overseas once, so they already have been in the game. They've been playing around Seattle and the Northwest a lot. So go ahead and let's see if we have some more on that question. Oh, I see. That might have been a response to Donna's question. Thank you. Okay, so what is the best way to proceed? Here's the question. What is the best way to proceed to approach venues without looking desperate? Oh, and that's a great question. I know that some of that's coming up, but what's the best way, Donna? If someone has some experience under their belt, but they're going to be leaving their comfort zone of this area, going to the Midwest. what is the best way to proceed to approach venues without looking desperate?
I'm not sure what you mean by looking desperate.
Oh, like, I really want to play with you and I want to be at your venue, and maybe they're going to cut a deal that won't be helpful for them. Maybe they're, how does an artist approach those venues when they're first time going out on a tour?
It's okay if you come up and, I want to play at this venue. This is a venue I'd like to perform at. Yay. Okay. And the venue is going to look at you. The talent buyer will look at you and say, okay, what are you bringing me? Do I have to work hard to advertise your name to get butts in the seats? What have you done for yourself that will draw people to the venue? I mean, there's a lot of artists out here. What makes you different? What is your buzz?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go to that. Okay, share a little bit more about that, Donna, when you're saying like someone goes to a new area and they don't know, they're looking at venues. What do you mean? What is their buzz?
Before you even get to that point, you're going to have some kind of foundation. For example, let's say you do a job, a volunteer, you perform at an event for free. Okay, that's great. So when you show up, do you just perform for free and do your thing and then walk off and say, yeah, that was fun? Or do you contact the media, someone in the entertainment industry, to ask them to write up about you, the Stranger, the Weekly, the whatever local music magazines out there? Do you reach out? Do you build a relationship with any music reporters out there? Do you contact other venues to come down and see you perform? It could be bring one of their representatives. It could be even a waiter at the venue, someone who sees you in action. Do you also promote yourself? I mean, what are you doing to create that press kit that you can give to the following venue? And then after you finish your job, do you go back and ask for, let's say, a letter of recommendation, or you just something to say, yes, I'm XYZ artist. I was on time, I set up, I was organized, we did an amazing show, we were professional all the way. I mean, the venue saying this, or the free event, nonprofit, whatever you're working with, that you've donated your time to, and they give you that letter of recommendation, and you take that and you put that in your press kit. So when you knock on that door to the XYZ venue out there, they're looking at that and they can contact them and say, how did they do? Oh, they did great. Then that opens the door a little bit for you. That cracks the door open a little bit. But if you're just someone walking off the street saying, I'm the greatest thing that you'll ever see, it's a business.
You talk about, the business. I think sometimes that's, as a artist myself, we often forget that part, right? Because we're so into making our music and doing our art, and all of those other things kind of get in our way. Because if we don't get that handled, then we're in trouble. And also JT was saying they've been doing a lot of that on their own, which, like you described, is good. You're managing, you're figuring those things out. And as you grow, then you add more people on. Well, it says here about the merchandise and developing those revenue streams to help you get on the road. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Donna?
Let's see. Here's Jill Scott, all of her songs, poetry. This is one of her merchandise. You have your T-shirts, your mugs, your pencils, whatever merchandise, stickers. You create your merchandise. So when you're out there, you're on stage, you make sure you get a merch table. Sometimes people want a percentage. One thing about the States, it seems like everybody has their hand in the artist's pocket. But you basically create your a line of merchandise that you feel comfortable with. You don't want to have too many because you want to sell out as quickly. You don't want to sit on a lot of product. Then it also keeps your name out there. You know, that t-shirt, that logo, what makes, you know, let's see, this is a hip hop band, this is a jazz band. Okay, but who are you? What is your buzz? Your logo, what kind of style? I mean, look at Bootsy here. You know, George Clinton. Look at those guys. Look at their style. Look at what they created. I mean, have you gone to some of their shows? You know,
Yeah.
you walk away, yeah, with goosebumps. And that image is seared into your mind. Otherwise, you're just another house band.
Which isn't a bad thing, but it may not be what you want.
I mean, no,
Depends.
it's thank you, Merri.
Hey, there's nothing like a good house band. That's all I can say. But, and if you're looking to be I have jammed to, I have been a house band. And so, but, you know, then there was the point where I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more of my music, or I wanted to do a different style or go solo, right? So it's really where you want to be, right, Donna? That's how you get there.
Yes.
And with that, before we go to the other side, someone thinks about the merchandise streams and showing different examples. Sometimes all we think about is t-shirts. Someone said, JT said, thank you about the confirmation about the letters of recommendation. Wondering about like the numbers of audience members, you know, like you're talking about creating, and I hope JT, I got your question right, but you're talking about your fan base, right? And creating a buzz. Including in that packet then should be maybe, do you need to say like, I had a show and over 100 people, or I had a show, or I have followers on this and that different social media, this many, they'll probably check it out. But do you need to include that kind of stuff in your packet?
It depends on, you know, whatever information that you feel comfortable with, you put it in there. It's also taking those photos from an angle that could make a crowd look larger than it actually is. But going back to the business side, it's how do you carry yourself as an artist? I understand. I'm desperately trying to be nice. So that's how I was like, be nice. Okay.
How do you carry yourself as an artist? What do you mean?
Well, artists can be like chum for sharks, because you're focusing on the art. You don't want to deal with the business. So everyone else will start coming in and do the business for you. And that's when you start losing, because I've seen people, you know, as your fame starts to grow, then, you know, people want to give you, you know, drugs and alcohol. And next, you know, you're signing off, you know, you lose the rights to your music because you're not taking care of your business. Or you just don't surround yourself with the right people. There's just so many pitfalls in there.
So just, you got to be aware and be focused on what you're doing, and which is your music and taking care of business, right? Don't get distracted.
Right. Understand it is a business. So it doesn't matter if it's, you know, 1,000 people or 10 people out there. If you did if there's one person in the audience and you play for that one person, like there's 1,000 people or 100,000 people out there, and you make sure you get that, again, recommendation from the venue or the promoter or whoever is in charge, the talent buyer. So you add that, you make sure you get the photo, you make sure, maybe you can even make your own posters, get permission to see if you can make your own posters to advertise as well. Because if you're showing up there and there's only one person, and that means you're not really promoting yourself, maybe on your social media and other formats. There's ways of helping yourself as well, instead of waiting for them to do it all for you.
Or even if you have that one person, couldn't you just say, hey, I want to talk to you. Can you, what'd you think of the show? And they give you the best reviews ever. And then you can use that in your social media.
Maybe you have a sticker with your social media contacts and say, please, make a comment.
Right.
Or you have something where people can, you can start collecting contact information, something.
Right. Well, let's see what the next slide. What do talent buyers want to know if you have that buzz? What do they need to know?
Like it says, can you draw a crowd? Are you professional? And press kits, media reviews, everything that we just spoke about. Because let's say, put yourself in their shoes, and you have, let's say, it's 100 capacity venue, and someone's knocking on your door saying, "I want to perform here." It's like, yeah, I want to hire you. So are you just going to show up to do the show? Is that it? Do you bring your fans? Do you help advertise? I mean, the venue has their base, but also what are you doing for yourself to make it a win-win for all parties? That they will invite you back over and over, and then they'll also recommend you to other venues.
Right. It's building that. And by the way, we've had an audience member say, hey, you don't have to be nice, be honest. They want to hear it, Donna. One of my favorite expressions Donna says is that artists, we are the chum. You got to watch out for those sharks because you will get eaten. So that's the honest truth right there. So tell us a little bit more, Donna, on this next slide.
Well, just a quick story. An artist showed up, amazing artist. She's focused only on her music, incredible show, but she came with her management and her management, because that's the person who's the in-between person. And the management wanted us to record the show, or we wanted to record the show, and he wanted, $5,000 for that recording. Like, okay, we'll do it. But somewhere along the line, we were not supposed to tell the artist. So that meant, oh, he's pocketing the money. And we can't say anything to the artist because that's what they brought. We want our show. Do we want to create any drama here because you didn't take care of your business? No. In reference to the next slide, there's various organizations that you can go to, from Polestar. I just Google it, and they can connect you with venues around the world. And that'll give you an opportunity to see who's open, what are they doing, what's the capacity of the club, what kind of music they like. It's all there.
I love that. We can find these things, but sometimes we don't even, like, where do I start? We don't even think, but it's there. So asking about these venues, that the question that came up earlier, this is how the red box, how to find the venue that's right for you. Okay, so can you walk us through that, Donna?
Oh, how to find a venue. It depends on what type of music the venue focuses on, because you have some that's just open to everything, and then some that just focus on rock or hip hop or so on. So you look at who you are, what you're creating, what tracks you want to lay down, and then you make a plan and you work the plan. You contact those, because there's it's hard to say, since the pandemic, like, everything stopped. It's like,
yeah.
So, but then now there's a lot of stuff online. But you do research on the venue. It's not just showing up at a venue because, oh, it's so pretty. You do research on the venue to make sure that they actually pay their artists. A lot of them want to pay the artist after the show. Okay, fine. You're in that position. You have to accept it after the show. Some venues, but after the show, the job is done, and you're still trying to get your money. Some venues, they, especially if you're booking like a tour, it's nice to get a deposit because you're turning down other jobs. And then when you show up, then you get the final, the other 50% afterwards, depending on whatever agreement that you've created with that venue. But if you're doing anything international or out of state, it's nice to get a deposit because you don't want to show up and find out that they changed their mind and you just forked out a lot of money on whatever mode of transportation you took to get there.
Wow. Someone just typed in, Donna. Thank you, Donna. Such great insights. I would love to hear a story about an artist who did these things right, like some of the things you've been covering so far. What did their business model look like? Someone who wanted to start touring, maybe nationally, let's say, or internationally. What did their business model look like? Can you think of someone who you found that did it right?
I'll just say short because we have a lot of slides to get through. In reference to local artists, and that would be like a club tour. And that's where you're working 6 days a week doing, I don't know, 3 or 4 shows a night. And it's hard work. But they had their stuff together. They wanted to open a new market, and they did the work. They made sure that they had their passports ready, their passport photos. They're amazing.
So they went out of country. This wasn't domestic. This was international. You're thinking?
This was, yes. It was, like one of those, like a jazz club or a coffee club. So there's a lot of venues, restaurants, and so on that want artists, but you're working quite a bit. I mean, 6 days a week. When you're in a different country, it's different in many ways. They expect you to work. They give you the schedule. If you're going to go abroad, you have to make sure, again, you get that deposit. That they're taking care of all of your transportation, accommodation, and food, that they're picking you up at the airport, taking you to the place you're going to be staying, whether it's a hotel or a band house, and then a round trip. Usually the band house is close to the venue, so you can walk back and forth. And then you have to make sure that all of the equipment that you need is there. Otherwise, you need to bring it with you, so you don't find yourself trying to replace something in that country. So there are quite a few, I'm going to say, local bands that do travel abroad, and they do work quite a bit. For those individuals that try to do it without getting the proper paperwork, if they're caught, then they could end up being banned from ever touring that country again. I mean, it's done, but
the cost.
I wouldn't recommend it.
You wouldn't recommend it. Well, let's see. I know you. Let's go to the next slide. 1 second, if it will move for me. Hold on. 1 second, everyone. Somehow that slide didn't want to go. Here we go. There we go. So you talked a little bit about places that people can play, right? At?
Yes, clubs, festivals, corporations, weddings, radio stations, universities, National Association of Campus Activities, or Association of APCA, Association for the Promotion of Campus Activities. Basically, I went to that. This one, I think local bands would enjoy thoroughly. It's nice to connect with an agency because then you don't have to pay all the fees. It's basically like a showcase. All the universities come in and they're looking for bands. And then you could totally book a tour, depending if it's a West Coast, Midwest, or East Coast. So I highly recommend that you look into this organization, and you look into agencies that already have artists that they represent at these organizations, and it'll cut down the cost, because a lot of times they want the artist to pay to showcase. But you do get, depending on if you got that buzz that you grab um, you got that je ne sais quoi, you have that thing, that buzz basically. Then the schools will start booking you, and you'll and you're off. And that's coast to coast. I'm talking about America. Then you have casinos, government agencies, nonprofit. Think out of the box. A lot of people that I've noticed, they're for local bands, they don't see the bigger picture, how powerful they are as artists. A lot of artists don't see how powerful they are. As well as there's one artist, he won a Showtime at the Apollo. And I was desperately trying to get his contact information. He didn't have any management, Finally, he got management. It's like he won Showtime at the Apollo, but his management wanted first class tickets and Sorry, I'm just laughing. It was so funny. It's like, dude, you're just getting started.
Right. A little too early to be asking for the champagne or something, like, because then they have to pay for that later, right? I mean, somehow, right? You mentioned in the past, like, go ahead.
It closes doors. Oops.
It closes the door because why? Because people think you're asking for something too early. Oops, can you hear Donna? Oh, 1 second. We have a little freezer, Rooney. Maybe I'm frozen.
I can hear you now.
Oh, good.
Oops, are you?
Can you hear me? Oh, good. So were you saying, was he asking for things too early in where he was at in terms of his career? Okay.
No.
Sometimes we don't know, we think we're riding high. Let's just go with it. This might be my only chance, I mean, sometimes there's that coming from, so we'll go to the next slide. Let's see if I can get to the next one. Hold on. There we go. So I guess that answers that, ask that question. Are you ready to tour? You've already covered some of these things. Can you share again if there's anything?
That's good. List your, letters of recommendation, everything we spoke about. Let's go to the next screen.
Okay. The cold hard facts. Donna, you're going to lay it for it. You're going to lay it down.
Hard facts. Contracts. You see it. Contracts, riders, stage pots, loading, deposit, passports, update. All of this is here. And no drugs. No drugs. No. I don't know if people can hear me or not. Okay. Because when you're in a foreign country, and even if it's weed, you could be looking at some serious jail time, depending on what their rules are. No, when you're in America, cool. When you're outside of the country, no. Next slide.
Okay. Oh, and what's the immunization part? Can you tell us about that too?
Next slide.
Oh, Donna, immunization. Oh, okay. I'll go to the next slide. Maybe we have a technical.
Oh, good. Talent responsibilities. If I don't know if people can hear me or not, but basically you want to adhere to the terms of the contract. Artists never listen. Oh, you can hear me? I can't hear you. Artists never read the contract. Okay, artists never read the contract. Know what you're getting into, because you can get to a venue and are like, no. Your performance, professional behavior. There are times artists will have on their rider, we want beer and hard alcohol and all that stuff. We were gonna get jacked. No, because that means you can't do your show. If that's my perspective. Maybe some people can function that way, but no. And then you got to be careful of groupies. Groupies are crazy, and they can trash a room, and that's going to come out of your pay. Again, no drugs, anything that impedes your obligations. Next slide.
1 second, Donna. Sometimes it doesn't want to go to the next slide. I don't know. There we go.
Great. Talent buyer's responsibility. The visa, artist guarantee held in escrow. Adhere to the writer's requirements. You know what a writer is. For example, if you're heading to a different country, you want to let people know what you want in the green room, what kind of airline seats, basically what kind of airline seats, if I'm talking about headliners opposed to local, that's going to be economy class. Headliners, you just have different levels here. Then in the hotel, you guys want to share rooms or you want private rooms? You want to list all of that in the promoter will get back to you with.
Oops, sorry everyone. I think we have a little technical difficulty.
Yes, no, yes, whatever. And you want to make sure that people will pick you up at the airport, take you to the hotel, and then from the hotel as much as possible. You also want to have friends or any responsible parties time in case there's a family, an act of God or earthquake or some kind of political unrest. People know how to get in contact with you. Next slide.
Okay, 1 sec. Next slide.
Talent buyers' responsibilities continue. Again, accommodations per diem. Per diem means money, basically money for food. If you're in a town for 10 days, then that's 10 days times $100 per day for your meals, plus one hot meal at the venue. So you can go out and get your own breakfast and lunch and snacks, whatever you want. And it's nice to have a translator. Sometimes a lot of people do speak English, but to have access to a translator and merchandise assistant and detailed tour schedule. Next slide.
1 second.
Far side. Can you hear me at all, Merri?
Yeah, Donna, it's a little bit of a delay sometimes. I don't know with the Wi-Fi. So I just wanted to let you know, we caught 89% of what you said on and off recently. So I'm not sure with the Wi-Fi.
See, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
You? Yeah. But you can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, Far side. Oh my God. They're amazing. Far side contacted us and said, we want to go to Japan. And you don't have to pay us. All we want you to do is to cover our transportation, accommodations, and all of the other things, and food. And I was like, yes, okay, you got it. And so they came as an opening act and did an amazing job. And later on, they end up coming as a headliner. They took a risk. They calculated the risk. They knew they wanted to open a market, and they found a way to do it without losing money. And I am just in awe of them. Next slide. Merri J Blige. There's a thing called Act of God clause. There was an earthquake, the Kobe earthquake, and the venues were destroyed. People were living in the park. But Merri, she was on tour at the time, and she had the right to stop the tour, pro rata, and go back to the States. But she had surrounded herself with supportive people. And she made the decision to stay and continue the performance. Even though the venues were destroyed, we created one in the park, and they performed in the park. she was there for the people who were hurting. I mean, her compassion, she didn't let her pains or whatever she may have gone through in her life, she was able to find compassion for other people to see that pain, and knew her voice, her presence just brought so much joy, and it did. Again, I am just in awe of her greatness. She's a beautiful person, beautiful. And the people, now I think about it, she surrounded herself, her band, it was, yeah, you know, they stayed. That was scary. And I think, how many people died that day? Was it like 5,000 people or something? I can't remember, but thousands of people died during that earthquake.
Yeah,
then you have the stylistics. The next slide. Then you have the stylistics. They would perform in restaurants and in large venues, you know, small venues and larger venues. But they kept that market open. They built their fan base. You can slide. They built that fan base, and they returned to Japan every year. Again, amazing, professional. And they also had that business sense, and they knew how to cultivate a market. Next slide. Karen Wheeler, she lost her luggage, got to Japan, show starting, no luggage. She did we couldn't find any shoes for her in the country to fit. So she performed barefoot. You know, I love that. There are times artists can get to a show and they can be pissed off at something that may have happened. And they could take it out on everybody, but it's the fans that'll hurt. Because they say, I'm not going to do the show because, you know, I didn't have any towels in my hotel room or something. And then the fans, they'll lose their base. There are times where you have to find that balance, even though you could be pissed off at somebody else. The people on the other side, they don't know all of that. They just came for a show. Yeah. And there's another group. I do believe it was the Ghetto Boys, and it was a snowstorm. No transportation. Everything shut down. No bus, no train. Everything shut down. I don't know how the fans got to the venue, but we were still there. We're getting ready to do the show, even if there was one person in the audience. The place was packed. And they gave all their merch to the fans free. I remember calling the agency. I don't know, it was in LA or New York, one of the places, and I was just praising them. Amazing. I remember thinking, why aren't you? They seemed surprised, but I was like, they were amazing. I cannot believe it. It was just accolades over and over again. Connecting with your audience is also important. I mean, you have to keep that balance for yourself, and you keep that connection with your audience. And then you have all these sharks swimming around you. How do you keep this balance in all of it? Ready for the next slide?
Okay. Can you hear me now, Donna, by any chance? No? Oh, well. Oh, a little frozen, everyone. Hold on.
In reference to African-American artists, I find that sometimes to underestimate the power the music possesses internationally when you show up. You don't have to be a headliner. You could be a local artist. People know. It's just, you realize when you step out of, for the audience, for the African-American artists out there, when you step out of the country, there's some shedding you have to do. You know, sometimes we may be living we're in a defensive way, overthinking things in the stateside. But when you get to another country, people are looking at you and saying, you know, you say you're going to do something and we're waiting. It's not, there's no game, there's nothing. It's something, it's a different energy. Okay, I'll say this. This is I found one day I found myself almost like in a fetal position because it's like I didn't understand what's going on. It's like the door's open to be treated as just you. You know, you don't have to deal with all of the microaggressions around you. And, you know, I'm not talking about the touristy areas because that's where it's been, but you're treasured in so many ways. People will run up to you, you know, designers, and say, please wear my earrings and wear my shirt or wear this or that, because they know everybody's going to buy it if they see you wear it. They want to use the music in commercials and so on. It's just Black is gold internationally. And yes, you do have those areas where I'm going to use the word, it's somewhat indoctrinated to carry on that kind of microaggressions. But I find patience is key, because you're a treasure. You are absolute treasure. And then discovering that treasure within you when you step out there, you know, that you don't have to carry on that kind of facade that you may have in the States. Is there anything?
Donna, can you hear me yet? Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, I put it on mute.
No, that's fine. Everyone, I'm just going to try and just make sure that I'm going to text Donna since you can't. Okay. And then let's see real quick. This is fun, isn't this? Isn't technology fun?
You're calling. Please leave your message. You're gonna call me?
I'm gonna text you.
Okay.
Okay. But let's do the next slide. We'll do the next slide, and then this is fun. Oh, hey, look at that. The next slide is the end. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and send Donna some of the questions via text, and then we'll keep moving this, you guys. 1 second. This is fun. Okay, let's see if we can get this figured out. One of the things,
I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. Again, we can't hear you. Oh, okay.
I mean, no, wait. Wait. We can hear you. And I would sing and dance and do a little something, but we're going to try and figure out how we can make this happen. So I'm going to let Donna know that we're going to put questions.
Yeah. Oh. Do you want to type any questions? Otherwise, we wrap it up?
Yes, we will type questions. So everyone, if you have a question
also
or
in
a comment,
to this new world we're in, don't think that there's always, this is the most wonderful thing about this time. If you can contact the city, for example, and see if you can perform in the park, and then that way you just get your, you know, keep your juices rolling and you're making contact. You want to start contacting other venues out there and let them know you're here and what are they looking for. Then you also want to create your own, I don't know. I mean, there's so many opportunities. There's podcasts, there's YouTube videos you can probably make with your cell phone. Okay.
All right. So she got my.
Oh, no, I'm looking. Okay.
Okay, she's going to be on chat now. So I'm going to go ahead. If people have questions in the Q&A, please let us know. And good. Thank you, Jasmine. So I see that I'm going to also cut and paste some of the comments that you've made. Thank you to our friend Near the Border who said, thank you for sharing your wisdom. So I'm going to let Donna know. We've had people then visiting us from Canada, from San Diego. And I'll put a question in for Donna that she can answer for everybody. I know that we haven't really talked about the record industry because that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm going to ask her, with streaming online services like Pandora and all of that, what about touring? I mean, how does that change the way that people tour? Do people even really need to go on tour like they used to do? Because now they can just put their music and it can be heard internationally just at the drop of a hat. So do people still need to tour? You know, what does it look different? What looks different now in terms of with all the ways that we can share music and social media? So hold on, everyone. Thank goodness I learned typing in high school, but it still might take me a minute. And if you have a question, put it in the chat, or excuse me, in the Q&A. Okay, so let's see, and we have another question, it looks like. Oh, I think we got that.
That one, I can't answer the question. Can you hear me though? Okay, I can't answer the question because you are the artist. Usually I deal with the end product, the finished product. So that's a question you should ask yourself.
And the question, once again, everybody, was with Spotify and Pandora and all of that, do I need to tour? I guess, let's see if there's another question here. We might have one. Yeah, thank you everyone for hanging there in there with us. Someone said, yes, you still need to tour. I would love to hear why. Personally, if I was overseas or a band came from overseas to the US and they were in Seattle, I would still want to see them. I don't just want to hear their music. I want to see them live. So sounds like some people feel like, yes, duh, you still need to tour. All right, here's another question then for, okay. Tell us. Okay, she told me another cautionary tale of having too many people around you that you don't trust. So I'm asking Donna to share that story. Let's see if she saw it.
Oh, the groupies on the shoes. Oh, sorry. I'm just. A band brought some groupies to their hotel room, and they tied their shoes on the fire extinguisher, and it set it off for the whole floor. The whole floor. And everything they made on that tour was lost. Their agent, we contacted their agency, and they just returned all the money to pay for the damages. That was sorry. Because we end up winning on that one. Yeah, you have to be careful of groupies. You have to be careful. You have to be mindful of yourself. You need. I'm not sure really what to say. It's good to have people who speak the truth to you, and usually that's probably a sibling or a family member, and you may not want to hear it. But if you have someone that keeps you balanced, especially when people are clamoring for your attention and fainting when you walk in the room, it's nice to make sure you stay grounded, because you're very special, and its industry can eat you alive, which I took an extended break from it and did something totally different. It can eat you alive. And it was hard to see some of the artists that didn't surround themselves with the right people, because you can't help them, because if I have a tour going on, that means the venue, we have the cost of the venue, the cost of the tickets, the cost of the rental equipment, the cost of the lighting, the sound, the staff, and no one's going to tell you crap, because the main thing is making sure that our job is going to be completed. Yes, I've seen. It may seem fun, I'm talking about when you get to a certain point, and it's fun to have all of the, people giving you gifts and so forth, but sometimes there's a price for that gift. I've seen so many artists that have everything but happiness. And maybe you're like, the hell, I can live with that, but just remember the self-care. The self-care is key, because people will make money whether you're alive or dead. So if you're not taking care of yourself and keeping that balance, then the sharks just come in for the kill. One thing I noticed is that, and this is from a person from the on the other side, people love to give the artists, the drugs, and they keep them in that world, and they stop handling their business, and that's when they start losing their rights. And there's a lot of artists today, major artists, they see their music in commercials, and they're not making a dime. But at least they had a great time getting high. Just to remember in reference to why did I put this picture for the last slide because it was beautiful, but it's just remember just to check in with yourself, to check in, because you're around a lot of people, you're managing a lot of things. If you're managing your band and someone has an issue, you got to find a new member at the spur of the moment. Airline tickets, flights may be delayed because of weather. There's a lot of stress. And there are times where you're just going to have to schedule you time. You have to do that. So I just saw that picture and I thought, yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, we'll probably wrap up shortly.
Yes. So I just really want to thank everyone. This is a bit of a,
Merri.
Can you hear me? Oh, hold on though, don't leave, watch, she's gonna leave before. This is a bit of a bummer that Donna can't hear us. Sorry, so let's stop this share. And, but I really want to thank everyone for being with us today. And it was really fun to have a chance to hear what you have to ask and hear a little bit about Donna's experiences. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to follow up on, please feel free to contact me at the Mahogany Project. If there's a question that you didn't get to ask Donna, then just go to www.mahoganyproject.org and fill in, we have a little, questionnaire email, and I would be happy to pass on any questions you have or comments that you might want to share with Donna, to Donna. And because it was just like we were doing good and then we just she couldn't hear us. So once again, thank you, Jasmine, for putting that in the chat. Let's see, she logged out. Donna, can you hear us now? No, you can't hear us, huh? So looks like the problem's still there. But once again, thank you. I want to thank Langston, Seattle, and also Menerva Labs. I want to encourage you to check out the rest of We Out Here Seattle. I want all of you, my music love, music people, I love you, I love you, I love you. As someone who has been in bands, loves to write music, and some of you have heard your music or sang with you even, some of the people attending. I just want to thank you for coming tonight and know that the one reason Donna, I've known Donna for a while, that she does this, she really believes in artists and with their talent. And as you can tell, she gets really sad when people lose their way. So this is, and that could be for a lot of reasons, but because the business is hard and it is a business. So I just say to all of you, let's just keep doing our art, keep on driving forward, surround yourself with good people and know what you want. And if you need to get into your tent and just take your time at nighttime with the beautiful mountains like that last shot, then do it. But keep doing your art. We need your music and we need to hear you. So thank you once again. And I think we can pretty much sign off. Please, like I said, check out some of the other events with weouthereseattle.com, and hopefully see you at some other events. The Mahogany Project will be producing an event Saturday morning called Saturday Morning Cartoons. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and bring your pen and paper and crayons and get ready to meet 4 fabulous artists who will hold workshops. And you can draw a comic book, you can draw a superhero, you can get on your phone and make anime, and you can learn how to storytell through cartoons and animation. So join us Saturday morning, 11 to 1 at We Out Here Seattle, Pacific Standard Time for another fun workshop. So thank you, everybody. Check out weouthereseattle.com, and happy Juneteenth, national holiday. Hey, and see you later. Thank you so much. Good night. Thanks, Jasmine. Night, Donna. Thank you, Donna.